What's good, YouTube? This your boy Chopper Style, bringing you a movie review on Sonic the Hedgehog. The beginning of this review is going to contain no spoilers. It's going to be my should you see this movie review. And the second part is going to contain spoilers. It's going to be my Chopper Style rating, my more biased opinion, because I grew up playing Sonic. I know about him, and I'm going to judge it differently. But let's get into the beginning of this review. I have to say, Sonic is a very family friendly movie. It's definitely meant for kids. There are parts in this movie that can be a little cheesy, and it's okay. I give it a pass because it's meant for kids. I took my children to see it, and they loved it. You know, that's what I went for. I'm like, I like Sonic, but I'm gonna take my kids because, if I liked Sonic as a kid, they should like it too. And they did. They loved it. I think Sonic played a great character. He was fun. He was active. He was on the screen almost all the time. He was a very likable character, especially for kids. They catered to that a lot. He had a good, meaningful backstory that made you really care about him. They didn't go too deep. The movie kind of moved. The movie kind of moved quick, but that's okay. It never felt like it was moving too fast. They didn't explain very deep about too much about anything, honestly. You know, it wasn't a very deep story, but it was good enough to keep you interested. You know, Dr. Robotnik, played by Jim Carrey, he did a fantastic job. I haven't seen Jim Carrey act like this since Ace Ventura. He is his old self completely. You could tell he enjoyed playing this character. So if you're a fan of Jim Carrey, you were gonna love him in this film. I think he did great portraying Dr. Robotnik. It was hilarious. He has lots of gadgets to use, and just like in the video game or a TV show, I think he portrayed his character pretty well. You know, you meet Tom, which is the other main character in the film that Sonic meets. I thought he was hilarious. I thought he played a good character. He could be a little cheesy at times, but it doesn't matter. Like I said, it's for kids. He was for every. That's why I know everybody was funny. There wasn't a person in this movie that was not funny. That's the best thing about this movie is its humor. I was laughing almost the entire time, you know, and my kids, they were laughing too. That's the best thing about this movie is it's funny. It's a great time. It's a good time with your family, good time with your kids. I don't want to give too much away. The movie is very entertaining. A lot happens. The action is good. Um, Good ending scene. There is an after credit scene, so stay for that. But it's a good movie. If I'm gonna rate this movie for my should you see this movie, I'm gonna give it, I'd say, a B minus. It definitely wasn't great, to me, but my kids loved it, so I give it a pass. Um, it could be cheesy at times. It's definitely not a perfect movie, but for a family, for kids, you know, seeing the movie, it was good. I didn't mind it. And that's as much as I good as I can say about it because I know Sonic, and this is where we're gonna get into the spoiler part. You know, uh, this I have to say this movie aggravated the hell out of me. I'm gonna say the good things about the movie first because I got a lot of bad things to say. Uh, Sonic, I think he was great in the movie. I loved his character. I used to watch the cartoons, and he was more of a cool, calm dude. But I liked in this one how they changed it up a little bit, and I'm not mad. He's super hyper, and it makes sense. That's like if you're gonna change a character, at least make it make sense. The fact that he's hyper and run around all the time, he's fast as hell. I like that. I'm not for sure exactly what his age was, because in the beginning, he starts off as a kid. I'm not for sure if he seemed like to me he seemed like a teenager. Maybe he's full grown. I'm not sure, but he played his character very well. I mean, in the beginning, you've seen him in this actual world, doing the big loop, turning into a ball, bouncing off the walls. I'm like, this is cool. This is like, it's like I'm my childhood again. I feel like I'm playing the video game. I loved all that. And Dr. Robotnik, man, he played, or Jim Carrey played him fantastic. The only takeaway I can say is, he wasn't fat because, normally Dr. Robotnik is big, but I didn't even mind. Jim Carrey played his character so well. I completely give it a pass. I feel like he was definitely meant to play this character. I knew that Jim Carrey playing him was going to be good, but I didn't know it was going to be this good. I mean, they played him to the T. He had all his gadgets. I mean, they even went a little overboard with his gadgets. He had gadgets on top of gadgets. I mean, his one of his machines would break down, and it would turn into another machine, another machine, another machine. I'm like, damn, I like that. And he was just off. He was goofy and he was off. I mean, but Jim Carrey, he is good at playing weird characters. Ace Ventura, who else could play that? Nobody can react that. Only Jim Carrey can play that character. And the way he played Dr. Robotnik was fantastic. I think him and Sonic were the best things about the movie for sure. Uh, I like that they show references to the Sega game, here and there. They hinted at certain things. I like that the town Sonic went to in Earth was Green Hill. I liked it, the Green Hill Zone. That's the first level you go to. So it's cool they played a reference to that. And throughout the movie, like when he had his coins, and he was carrying them in his little pouch. And they, when you get hit by spikes, you get hit by enemy, he loses all his coins. They did that a couple times in the movie. I like that, that slow mo and everything. That was cool. Also, one thing I never realized at the end of the level, if you've played Sonic, you jump through that big hoop. When I was a kid, I didn't care. I thought that was, the end of the level. But in this, they portrayed it as it's a portal. And I'm like, you know what? That really makes sense, because you would jump through the ring and you would go to the next level. After you beat the levels, you would go to the next world. And I'm like, wow, I like the way they portrayed that. So he can teleport anywhere, but he can also teleport in this movie, he can teleport to Earth and other dimensions, I'm guessing. This is where I'm going to get into the things I didn't like about the movie, because the best thing about the movie is definitely Sonic and Dr. Robotnik. That's all the game really had, was that and the machines. The movie didn't need to add humans. They have humans in it, and I was gonna give it a pass, but I should have known. Like, when this movie was first gonna get released, the Sonic character looked horrible. He looked nothing like Sonic. I was happy that Sonic was being made. I never thought that Sonic would be a movie on the big screen. So I was happy to see that. But when I seen he looked like a rat, I'm like, he's a full CGI character. There is no reason for him to look that bad. I mean, he should look just like he did in the game. I've never seen a movie where it's 100% CGI character and he looks nothing like the character. It makes no sense. I could see if there was a person in a costume or something, but this 100% CGI. There's no reason. And I'm glad everybody ripped that dude a new ass for doing that. And they held the movie back and they made another Sonic. And he looks fantastic. But that right there should let you know that whoever's making this movie, I'm not sure who made the movie, but yet that lets you know that this dude is just trying to do a cash grab. He doesn't care about Sonic. He's just trying to make money off of it. And that's what really made me mad about this movie. The Sonic's world, where he came from, where he was, doing all the circles and loops. That was like another different world, I believe. And in the city, it was called Green Hill. It's like, well, that's not Green Hill. Green Hill had the loops and all that, And then the fact that he would teleport to Earth and then teleport to different dimensions. And it's like, the different dimensions where it's 100% CGI world, why couldn't we have more of that? It's like this movie tried to be two different things. It tried to portray the kids and it tried to portray to nostalgia. And it's like, you got to pick one. If you're going to be just for kids, okay, just be for kids. Like the new cartoon show of Sonic, I haven't watched it, but I can see they changed up a lot. Knuckles is huge and all that. Look, I don't mind. It's for kids. Cool. I don't watch it. But don't try to play both sides. And that's what I hated because they did a terrible job. It's like they didn't care. If you go and play nostalgia, then why have humans in it? I mean, yeah, in Sonic Adventures, there were humans, but they were never a big part. You know, all there was Sonic and Dr. Robotnik pretty much. That's all you needed. In this movie, Sonic and Dr. Robotnik were such strong characters. You didn't need nobody else. If you want to have humans in it, okay, have them in it a little bit. But let Sonic and Dr. Robotnik be the main thing. Whenever them two are on screen, everything's great. But then when the humans come in, it kind of takes away from the movie. And look, I was being nice. I gave it a pass. I'm like, okay, you know what? Whatever. Let the story build up, because Dr. Robotnik, he had like no backstory. They got straight into him and he was his character. I'm like, cool. Sonic, he had a little bit of backstory. They got straight into his character. I'm like, cool. Well, then you got to let things develop a little bit. And, maybe towards the middle to end of the movie, it's going to be about Sonic and Dr. Robotnik going at it. You get a good scene you get a good scene with it. And you do. You get them going at it. They're traveling, going through different dimensions and stuff. I'm like, okay, this is cool. I like it. And then the humans come into action. I'm like, dude, you have no powers. You have like, what are you gonna do? And that's the part that kills me. Is he actually helped? Dr. Robotnik has all these gadgets. This dude sneaks up on him behind him through a loud ass portal that you can hear, but Dr. Robotnik doesn't hear it, and just punches him straight in the face. I'm like, dude, this reminds me of Ninja Turtles when they tried to recreate it and April beat Shredder. That's not happening. Just like in this movie, like just let Sonic fight him. Y'all humans be on the sideline and just let Sonic and Dr. Robotnik go at it. The humans were in the movie the whole time. Just let Sonic and Dr. Robotnik have their time. That's all they had to do. And then throughout the movie, Sonic had like this explosion stuff. He can charge up and blow up like when he gets mad or sad and stuff. And I didn't quite know what it was. I thought that it was a power that, I guess it's some type of power he has. I'm cool with that. I'm like, okay, you give Sonic a new power. That's cool. And I was hoping at some point in the film, you would see Supersonic. And I'm like, you might not because you got to get the emeralds. And are they going to portray him getting 50 coins? But I just thought some way they would pull it out their ass to bring Supersonic. I'm like, I just really want to see him. And we get some false version of Supersonic. He's like, he has all this lightning and he's like a mean version of himself. Though I'm like, you know what? We don't get Supersonic. We get this form. Okay, I'm kind of okay with it, but the nostalgia in me just won't let it go. I'm thinking, okay, maybe somewhere in the video, because there's been a lot of video games, a lot of TV shows. I'm like, okay, maybe he's portraying a character that he did in a video game or a show that I haven't watched. So after the movie, I looked up that form. And turns out it seems like it's Dark Sonic. I'm like, okay, well, let me look up Dark Sonic and see his moves, see him in action. And this film really picked a form of Sonic that happened once out of all the games, out of all the TV shows. From what I searched up, this form happened one time in Sonic history. And I'm like, why would they pick the least popular form in Sonic that no one's ever heard of? And I'm not even gonna lie, when I first seen it, he was pretty cool. He was super strong and, just wrecking stuff. And in this one, he wasn't even all that. He was bouncing off Dr. Robotnik's ship. I mean, it looked cool, but if you look up Dark Sonic, he wasn't bouncing off no machines. He was going through them. And I'm like, they at least could have made him raw or better. And I was like, for all that, why didn't you just put Supersonic? There was no reason not to put Supersonic. You guys want to play nostalgia, put Supersonic in it. You already get, I didn't get that. And then another thing that really aggravated me. Everyone knows you play Sonic at the beginning. It says Sega. It sings it. In the beginning of this, I'm like, there's no way they're not doing it. There's no way. It's simple. Put the Sega, have the guy say it, and have Sonic run through it. No, they just put Sega on screen and say nothing. That bothered the living hell out of me. Before I went and seen this movie, I just wanted two things to happen. For them to say Sega at the beginning and to see Supersonic. And neither of them happened. And it's like, man, and I just hate how the film tried to play both sides. Like, why? If you would have just played one side, the film would have been better. Yeah, nostalgia people would have hated it, but at least they wouldn't have hinted towards it. And then they go and hint towards nostalgia and completely butcher it. The best parts about the film, it was they didn't show it that much. Show those CGI worlds. Put that in the film. The best part about the film, when it comes to nostalgia, was the ending. Dr. Robotnik got put inside some mushroom CGI world. I'm not for sure if it's from Sonic or not, but it looks like it's from Sonic. The old game. And Dr. Robotnik has his long beard, he's bald, he looks just like the character. And I'm like, when I seen the trailer, they teased that. And I'm like, you guys really gonna show this at the end of the movie? You're gonna give me the true Dr. Robotnik, 100% nostalgia, except for the wait, at the end of the movie? I'm like, are you kidding me? And then I didn't see the post credit scene. I just walked out. I looked it up on my phone, and I'm glad I looked it on my phone. Because if I was seeing this in the movie theater, I would have raged. It's Tails coming through a portal. And I'm like, what? How you going to give the best parts at the end? And then also, I did stay for a little bit, like at the credits, they got the nerve to show the old school 16-bit Sonic running, showing, the game and all that. I'm like, man, I had enough of this, man. Like, you guys did a terrible job portraying this. Another reason why I probably was so hard on this film is because when I seen Harley Quinn, I didn't know much about the character, and I felt like they portrayed her good, really good. You know, you could tell they actually cared about nostalgia in that. And at least Harley Quinn played her character to the T. The movie was 100% Harley Quinn's movie. It never strayed away from that. It never tried to be different. It didn't have to deeply explain everything. It just did what it wanted, and it was great. And Sonic, it didn't know what it wanted to do. It was trying to be two different things, and I just couldn't stand it. Like, don't put all this nostalgia in there and just do it terribly. Like, I just don't like that. If you are a fan of Sonic, this movie is gonna piss you off. If you haven't seen it, I'm telling you, go see it. You will love Sonic. You'll love Dr. Robotnik. And they didn't have to do it like this, man. It was sad. It hurt to see them do it like this. Growing up playing the game, Sonic is simple. It's very simple. All they had to really show is Sonic, the animals, and Dr. Robotnik. That's all the game had. And it turned something simple into a project. That's what it felt like to me. And even the beginning of the film, I liked it. The middle of the film, I was cool with it. I was willing to give it a pass. But there's just certain things that you don't leave out of Sonic. Where were the emeralds? They never showed up at all. Like, you're going to show all this, nostalgia. You're going to show the rings, Dr. Robotnik. And instead of him going after the emeralds, he's going after Sonic's hair to try to steal his speed. And I kind of didn't get that part. It's like, why? Why not have him go after the emerald? I mean, I don't know. It just didn't make sense to me. Like, it was 100% for children. It was 100% for people who don't know who Sonic really is. It was just a cash grab. And it's like, my son, he loves Power Rangers. And he started off watching the newer Power Rangers. He also, because he watches on Netflix, he also watches the old school Power Rangers. He watched all of them and he loves every single one. And it's like, if I like Sonic as a kid, then why even change it? Because kids these days would still like Sonic. He's a likable character. I mean, he has super speed. He turns into a ball. He can jump super high. All these cool things he can do. There was no need to change. There was no need not to go to nostalgia and think that you couldn't make more money or do a better job. Like I don't even. I just hate when people will mess up a character. You have too many good movies out here that actually care about their characters, Marvel and DC. And then to see Sonic, something I've never thought to be on big screen, come out, and they just butchered it. It hurt. I'm not gonna lie. I was hoping that they would put more in this film, and it seems like they're setting up for a part two. And in part two, it seems like they're trying to go more nostalgic. Dr. Robotnik looks like him 100% self. He's in a CGI world. Tails is coming, and it looks like, okay, part two, they're gonna really wait till part two to do everything. But I can tell by this film they're gonna butcher it. They're definitely gonna butcher it. They're probably gonna bring the humans to that world. It's not gonna be Sonic's movie. I'm not looking forward to part two. And honestly, if a part two came out, I wouldn't even see it. After that part one, I wouldn't waste my time seeing it. I don't care what the trailer shows. I would wait until it came on video and I'd watch it. I mean, they did this movie wrong. I mean, if you don't know who Sonic is, you'll love it. But nostalgia it really is gonna piss you off. You can tell in my voice. It hurt. Right after the movie, I had to call my sister and tell her about it. She knows about Sonic 2, and man, I had to vent to somebody. Like, I couldn't believe it. I don't know if I've ever had a movie make me that mad before. Honestly, I watched lots of movies, and that movie really pissed me off. Out of all movies that portrayed a character, I had to say that was probably one of, I'm not gonna say it's one of the worst ones, because Sonic and Dr. Robotnik were on point. I will give them that. And any nostalgia that they did show that was correct was good to see. But enough of me hating on this movie. I can talk about it literally all day. But my review, my chopper style bias review for this is gonna be a C minus. I honestly want to give it a D, but Jim Carrey played that part too good. And Sonic, I like the way they did him. I would say Jim Carrey was my favorite character in the movie, just because Sonic, he is a CGI character. It's not going to be too hard to portray and look exactly like him. Jim Carrey, he looks nothing like Dr. Robotnik, and in this movie, he got it down packed. He had the jacket, he had the glasses, and even at the end, he had the mustache. And not just that, the way he portrayed him, how he acted crazy and nerdy, and into his gadgets, and even the one-liners they had in it. It was good. And also, the movie was very funny. I will say that. Even if I didn't like certain things about the movie had me laughing the entire time. So it wasn't all bad. It's a lot of things I didn't like about it, but I admit it wasn't terrible. It's just I grew up playing the game, and to see them do it that wrong, it hurt. But yeah, this is my review on Sonic the Hedgehog. Let me know what your guys' thoughts. What you thought of the movie, if you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you played the game as a child growing up, did this movie make you as mad as it made me? Tell me your thoughts though. But thank you for watching this movie or this movie review. Like, comment, subscribe. Chopper Style out.